What's up, everybody? How are you doing? I know it's been a long time. I already know. But let me show you what we've been working on around here. So recently, my kid's dad, I have been trying to get him for the longest to cut down my limbs on my big old tree. Let me show you how my tree looks. Look at this big old bushy tree. I'll have to step out in the street to show y'all how big it is. But you see all the limbs on the ground. Shout out to my kid's dad for coming to finally cut some of these limbs down. He still got a lot to do. And it's a lot in my neighbor's yard that he gotta get. So first step to this, and I said, look, can you come get these limbs out the yard? He was like, yeah, I'm gonna come back and get it. But it's been like 2 weeks now. So shout out to my neighbor right here, the White House next door. Shout out to him because he's gonna come get all these limbs out of my yard and burn them in the back of his yard. So I am so grateful. Like, it's good to be good to others because blessings, unexpected blessings come, because I got so tired of this stuff being in my yard. Y'all, it has definitely been a journey because I have been crying and whining about getting all these limbs up for the longest, and we finally getting them down. I want to put my kids a big water slide in the yard so bad, but you can't because the limbs are so tall. It's taller than a house, but some of them are just hanging down. And you know, those water slides, they are really big now. So I was just like, you know what, thank you, Jesus, for putting somebody in my pathway. Well, the kid's daddy for finally coming and cutting those limbs down. It's just gonna look so much better once it's all lit. I am so grateful. So y'all watch my journey, because me and the kids, we started out cutting some of the limbs off in the yard. Let me show you. So there were tall weeds up against my windows for the longest, and I got tired of looking at it because it was covering the actual window. So I didn't want it like that. When I tell y'all, the house looks so much better without those limbs. It just creates all kind of bugs when you have all those kind of limbs and stuff. And you know, it's still a work in progress. Everything is not done, but we have gotten a lot done, and the yard looks so much better, and I just could not be more grateful. Okay, y'all, here we go. Watch my journey. So I decided to cut the limbs in my tree down because somebody told me that it would be $2,000 to cut it down, and I was not having it. Y'all, look how much Faith cares about me. I cannot wait to show y'all the finished product on all the trimmings we've been doing around the house with the trees and the limbs that's all in the way. Now, let me tell y'all about these people in my neighborhood, and they got doggone dogs. So sometimes I let my girls go outside and play in the yard, and they leave the door open, and I go back and forth outside and check on them. I sit in the living room, in the front room, while they're playing outside. Sometimes I let them ride their bikes to the stop sign, but this particular day I told them to stay in the yard. Well, there is this dog that's in the neighborhood, and I hate the dogs in the neighborhood. This is probably the only dog that's still left in the neighborhood that's just roaming around, and it's a pretty big dog. Well, my kids were outside minding their own business when all of a sudden I hear Faith screaming, "Mama, mama, mama, mama," and all the time she's screaming, "Mama, mama, mama," so I don't really pay any attention to her. But this particular time, it was something serious. I got up, and about the time I got to the door, Faith met me at the door. Come to find out, that big dog that's in the neighborhood was trying to come after her. Y'all, I was so doggone mad. Now, Ariel, she was out there with her, but I was so mad I ran outside, and by the time I made it outside, the woman was at the end of my driveway. She said she don't bite. I said, I don't care. My baby is scared of dogs.
They left her a house in Booker T.
Okay.
So she sold this house and moved to Booker T in their free house.
None of this back here? None of that back there?
There's 4 or 5 houses back there.
Okay.
We watched all, you can see all the way through to the road.
Okay.